Mr. Phil Robertson. In the Woods with Phil is the brand new series, and Phil Robertson joins us now. Phil, welcome back. Welcome back, buddy.
All right, guys, how's it going?
Phil, we're honored to have you again, and we're fired up about your show. We love Duck Dynasty, and we were kind of sad when we thought you were going away, but you're going to be back.
Look, Roy Moore called me and said, Phil, come over here and give him a charge on my behalf. And I knew after all the smoke had cleared that there was still hope for America when I looked up. And when Roy come riding up on that Tennessee Walker horse for his acceptance speech, I said, well, now we're getting somewhere.
I've got good news and I have bad news. Are you ready, Phil?
What's that?
All right, the good news is we're now on in Monroe, Louisiana. They just added us there on 105.7. You now can get Rick and Bubba when you're at home.
Hey, you know what? It runs a shiver down the backs of all these crazy left-wing nuts. Good night, the rednecks are banding together.
I know it. Well, and here's the bad news. One of our listeners that's in the studio watching thought you were going to be in the studio and brought you peach cobbler today.
Well, you know,
Phil, we will eat that on your behalf today.
Yeah, so don't you worry.
And trust me, it's very good.
I heard you talking to our buddy Hannity this week about your new show. You had him backed in the corner.
That was so funny.
I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe.
Well, I was trying not to press the man. What am I talking about? I'm trying to convert the dude, and he's hedging on me. You know, it's like I run into yesterday on the Stuart Varney show. Well, the guy I followed was old Joel Osteen, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Joel, you know, he said, well, Phil, we're on the same page. He said, you know, I'm just saying it a little more nicely. I said, Osteen, cut to the chase, son. Tell him to turn or burn.
You're now claiming on In the Woods with Phil that now you can speak openly. And I thought to myself, what in the world did you not get to say on Duck Dynasty? But you clarified that there actually were a lot of things that were edited out.
Oh, they edited out almost everything. And you have to remember, I quoted 1 Corinthians 6, 9, and 10. When I did that, that cost the Duck Dynasty crew and all of us, you know, about $10 million because these sponsors just bailed out.
Right.
But give me a break. I just quoted a Bible verse. What a lot of people don't realize, I used to be sexually immoral. I ran around out there whoring around. I tell people, I said, look, I used to get high, get drunk, and get laid, not necessarily in that order, but that was pretty well the three things I was into. Well, when I repented, now I tell people, here's the problem. According to God, you can't behave this way. So I give them the bad news first, and then we point them to Jesus, tell them what he did for them, his death on the cross and his resurrection 3 days later. That's their problems, and that's the problem solver. But guys, our culture is just generating out these young people that just down and out, no job, walking around on the street, selling their bodies. So we're working with all those people. We love them. We love the whole doggone bunch. You know, start with child rearing, teaching your children patriotism, teaching them to obey older people. You know, when's the last time you heard someone say, you respect your elders, you respect your teachers, respect law enforcement? I'm named after my uncle, Phil Shores. He volunteered for the Marine Corps in World War II, took 5 steps off one of those landing crafts over at Okinawa, and he died right there on that sand. My dad was in the Navy. Mom was a riveter on airplane wings out there in California. So the bottom line is we were taught, and I think we've lost that in America.
What you're doing with this show, say, let's get back out in God's creation. Let's get out in the woods. Let's sit around. Let's talk frankly about getting back to the basics. And if you really love somebody, I've never understood how someone can define not telling someone the truth as being somehow loving them.
It's crazy. We just live in a tough culture these days, boys, so we're trying, maybe down there in the woods, you know, and I'll get the good news to them, you know, and talk about child rearing and talk about loving your neighbor.
Why is that important on the big picture?
It's important because, look, we lost 7,000 troops in Iraq and Afghanistan over the last 13 or 14 years. 7,000, and I hate it that we lost a 1. During that same time frame, us losing the 7,000 troops with all that firepower, over 200,000 during the same time frame were killed on our streets in shootouts, drug gangs, 200,000. So there's a pretty serious war going on here, and if these young people don't realize that respect for the flag, the national anthem, your parents. I raised 4 boys, and look, the whole bunch is millionaires now, so hey, it will work.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.